My name is Dr. Wendy Ingram, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of DragonFly Mental Health. DragonFly Mental Health was only founded in 2020. So applying for the MassChallenge Accelerator was one of the very first things we did as a company, as a nonprofit organization. And I could not have anticipated how beneficial it was. And the application process I really loved. We applied to a few different accelerators, some that are more well-known, but when we found MassChallenge, it really was exciting the way that they were describing themselves and like what the process was and how much feedback you get even in the application. And so that all really resonated with us and got us so DragonFly is a bunch founded by a bunch of academics. So it's a by academics for academics organization. And not very many of us had any business experience. And so this was just such a critical and important step in our development. And knowing that folks that were first-time entrepreneurs, first-time founders were welcome and encouraged, and in fact, things were designed for us, was just amazing and got us really excited. And then the application process itself was super helpful, just to get us thinking about the things we needed to be thinking about and articulating our mission, our vision, like what we were anticipating, looking back at what we've achieved so far. All of these things were really helpful just in the application. And then designing our pitch deck for the first interview. Once we got the amazing news, we got the first round of interviews and got to make it to that second round. We worked with one of our board of directors, and that was just such an amazing process that we hadn't had a need to do. So it was just like pushing us forward, accelerating us literally from just the application phase. The other thing that I really, really loved about even the application process was getting this feedback from these phenomenal judges that we had even at that second stage of applications, the live pitch. And one of the judges reached out right away through LinkedIn and immediately connected us with an incredible mentor through her own network without us even getting in. So it was great just the entire way, and the feedback and the write-ups about our application, our pitch deck, our business plan was just so kind and so helpful, very efficient, but detailed in the feedback we were getting from the judges at that second round of interviews. So we were obviously beyond elated to have made it into the cohort, and we've learned so much, and it truly was incredible and beyond all my expectations to have participated in MassChallenge from 2021. So once you're in the process, in the cohort, the MassChallenge, the way they set up the seminars initially are just, we were a sponge. We were absorbing the entire time. There were just all these resources provided to us, and the MassChallenge staff were just phenomenally helpful and responsive to all of our questions, and really good at helping us find ways to help ourselves as well, which is one of the most critical pieces, right? Having mentors, having people to go to and ask these questions is great, but also being referred to the right books, the right websites, the right, to get connected to folks that have the strengths that you're specifically needing and looking for, that I didn't even know the terminology for previous to being part of MassChallenge and getting immersed in this. What what did I kind of call it? So when we started MassChallenge, it really felt like business boot camp, and it was perfect because I don't have time to get an MBA. I'm a founder. I'm trying to get our mission, our vision, our our activities going. We're already started. We've already had success, but I just need more support and understanding of the terminology, the space, like where founders come from, where what kind of decisions founders have to make. So all along the way, I kept getting these recommendations of like this book and The Founder's Dilemmas and Spin and like all these books to read. It was awesome. And then it was the thing to read. It just cut through the scariness of what I was doing previously, just kind of trying to figure this stuff out by Googling. MassChallenge was like a hot knife through butter. We just like got way further along, way faster than I could have possibly anticipated. I think founders just kind of have to have this at least flavor of fearlessness. So I was certainly in over my head and had this like, but I'm gonna do it anyways. So let's hit it. And so we really did. Certainly at the beginning, there were some basics where I felt like, oh my gosh, can we have a glossary for this document you gave us? I don't know half of what this means. And what was great was that MassChallenge was responsive and recognized that, we weren't the only ones who had never didn't have anybody on our team with an MBA who could help translate for us. But I'm a research scientist by training. And so I wasn't too intimidated by the secret lexicon. So I just knew we needed to get a translation device and MassChallenge provided that. So it was great. And I think that the order of the general seminars that start in with the first 4 weeks was just perfect. It was exactly right. So the advice that I would give to especially new founders, people who don't come with a business background, yes, it can be intimidating. Yes, it can be a little overwhelming at the beginning, but MassChallenge really did a great job of organizing these seminars early on to give you the basics and that foundation that everybody needs, as well as really detailed, useful, immediately helpful information. So I think that the advice I would have is make sure that if you're applying to MassChallenge and you get in, make the time for that first section to really attend every single one of the seminars, because they are and to watch all the videos so that you can participate actively in the Q&A sessions with those speakers, because it was invaluable. It was so helpful, and it was designed really in the right way to you're jumping in the deep end, but they give you some floaties, so you'll be fine. It broke things down in a way I hadn't had to think about yet. There was this kind of honing and sharpening of what we were defining our processes at, like what our goals were. It was something that helped us reflect at a really good point for us to do so, because we went from 0 to 60 real fast on our own, but then we were like, oh my gosh, we're driving this car real fast. How do we stay on the road? How do we anticipate the curves? And so the application process itself was really helpful in highlighting things that hadn't come across my radar yet. And so that was helpful. I'm glad that we gave ourselves enough time to really do it and do it well, and not rush it, because there were terminologies, there were, kind of specific asks or budgetary questions that we hadn't added up those numbers yet. We hadn't really created that kind of a budget yet. And that, having given ourselves enough time to really go through the whole application multiple times and then take that back to our advisors and then kind of come back and forth. Not that it took too long, but it was nice to have started as early as we did, so that we did have that time to reflect and then find those numbers and make those calculations and think about and evaluate those kinds of goals and approaches. And so the application was fantastic. And I would highly recommend to founders to check it out, read through the whole thing, highlight anything you didn't, already know, and do some due diligence there to make your application the best it can. Because by making the application the best you can, that's just that reflection was already getting us to a better place than we were before we started.